The high school where I teach auto shop got closed today due to a bomb threat. I got the day off, so it looks like you guys are getting this video a few days early. Hello there, my name is Casey, and this is the second installment of my series on extracting fumes from my Bamboo Labs 3D printers. If you haven't already seen part 1, you should probably go back and watch it. In part 1, I designed a 3D printing fume extraction system using a duct fan from VEVOR and a bunch of 3D printed parts. Part 2, we're going to test this system. We're going to figure out if it overcools the chamber or if it makes the heater in the Bamboo Lab H2D work too hard. And we're going to do that with the help of these 4 benchies right here. So without further ado, let's cut over to a segment where we go over why I chose the VEVOR duct fan and its basic function. I did talk about the VEVOR fan in depth in the first installment of the video, so if you want to skip ahead, you won't hurt my feelings. It's going to be around the 4-minute mark where we get into the testing of the exhaust system. Okay, so here is the VEVOR duct fan as I have it installed in my printer fume extraction system. This is an EC motor fan, which is one of the big reasons I chose it. EC motors, electronically commutated, are very quiet compared to AC motors. It's currently running on the setting that I extract fumes with right now. And you can barely hear it. Going in the X1, you can hear it there. H2D, similar. But the big reason I chose to go with the VEVOR fan is its controllability. Let me show you. All right, let's take a look at this display. So you've got a timer setting. You can set it to run for any amount of time that you want it to. You've got an auto mode, so you can have high temp, low temp, high humidity, or low humidity, and you can set those ranges accordingly. You've got an alarm setting if it goes over a certain temperature, or if it goes under a certain temperature, or if it goes over a high humidity, or if it goes below a low humidity. And then you've just got basic on-off operation. So if you turn it on and you press the up arrow, we're now set to setting 1. Hopefully that shows up. I know there's a little bit of glare with the ring light. And now it's blowing setting 1. I'm not sure the camera will actually even pick up the sound that it's producing at level 1, but you can kind of see the amount of airflow on level 1. So substantial. So now we're set to level 3, and as you can see, quite a bit more air. I don't know, I think level 3 is probably where this thing's gonna wind up set for operation, and consequently, this is about the same volume level as a Bamboo Lab 3D printer auxiliary fan. So I just have a feeling this is where we're gonna end up. Don't quote me on that, but I have a feeling. And then just for kicks here, this is level 10, full speed, 205 CFM. It ramps up slow, so it's set on 10, and it's gonna ramp up. Now we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is a ton of air. And it's still fairly quiet. So we're gonna go ahead and shut it off. And again, it's got a soft off feature there. So I've been thinking long and hard about how I can test the effectiveness of my ventilation system while also measuring in the most scientific way possible its effect on the heating of the H2D chamber. And I think I've come up with something that's going to work pretty well. Before you is a fleet of 3D benchies. And yeah, I know, this is probably the most printed model on the planet, but these 3D benchies are here to tell a story. They are, in fact, a great benchmark. I've got the H2D plugged into a power meter, which measures the wattage used by this device, and it gives you a nice readout in kilowatt hours as well. The benchies are, well, they're 1-hour benchies. They're kind of the standard profile, normal speed. They take an hour, so they're kind of the perfect benchmark because wattage, hour print, kilowatt hours, we can get some data out of this. In the interest of being as scientific as possible, the way I'm going to go about this is I'm going to preheat the chamber on the H2D before the start of every print. And then I'm gonna reset the power meter, and then I'm gonna print the benchy. I'm gonna compare no fume extraction, low level fume extraction, and slightly more robust fume extraction. We're gonna look at the power used in kilowatt hours of each one of these cycles and see how it plays out. In essence, we're going to see how drawing air out of the chamber while it's being heated affects the wattage used, which will tell us how hard that little heater inside the H2D is working. Let's get into it. Okay, so benchy number 1 was printed with the fan turned off. Consequently, it took 20 minutes for the chamber to reach temperature with the fan off, and the power meter was reset right before the start of the print. Okay, so again, this is fan turned off. The noise you're hearing in the background is an air purifier because there are substantial ABS fumes in the room right now with this print going on. I'm trying to be as scientific as possible, so at the end of the print, the filament is retracted. The machine goes through its routine. It lowers the heat bed down again, plays its little happy noises. And now the print is done. And what do we have? 0.324 kilowatt hours. Well, that's our benchmark, 54.5 minutes. Okay, so benchy number 2 was printed with the fan on the number 1 setting, gate at 50%. It took 22.5 minutes to come up to temperature. And once again, the power meter was reset right before the start of the print. So here we go, that benchy is done. And we're gonna let the machine go through all of its process before we look at the power meter. There we go, it's gotta do its little thing. Roll back the filament. Lower the bed, play its little happy music. All right, and the print is done, and we've got 0.327 kilowatt hours, 53, just under 54 minutes. Okay, so 0.327 kilowatt hours versus 0.324 kilowatt hours. That's a difference of 3 watt hours. So basically 3 watts for 1 hour on a 54-minute print. That's not a significant difference at all. But let's see what happens when we put it at setting number 2. At setting number 1, you can still smell some ABS fumes in here. You heard the air purifier on for that reason. Setting number 1, it doesn't quite cut it. You need a little bit more extraction than that to make the room fume free. So let's try fan setting number 2 and see what happens. Okay, so this is benchy number 3, fan setting number 2. Because this benchy was printed in rapid succession after the last one, the chamber was already heat soaked. Once again, the power meter was reset right before the print was started. All right, so extraction on level 2. Okay, so we're letting the print finish up, do its thing. Rolling back the filament. Lowering down the heat bed, happy music. And we're done. Interesting. That's quite a bit less than with the extraction on level 1 and even with the extraction off. Okay, so the more keen-eyed among you probably noticed that the room ambient temperature was at 66 degrees Fahrenheit at the end of benchy number 3. It was at 62 degrees Fahrenheit at the end of benchy number 2. With 0 extraction, the print used 0.324 kilowatt hours. With level 2 extraction, the print used 0.306 kilowatt hours. That's about a 6% difference between level 2 extraction and no extraction. 6 degrees less power used with level 2 extraction. But the room was 4 degrees ambient higher, which is about 6% higher in temperature. Since we're talking numbers, let me throw some more numbers at you real quick. The H2D pulls about 1,300 watts to heat the chamber to 60 degrees and the heat bed to 100 when you first turn both of those settings on. So heat bed to 100, chamber to 60, both heaters fire up, 1,300 watts. Once the heat bed reaches 100 degrees C, the H2D drops down to about 750, 800 watts while it's just heating the chamber. That's the power supply running, I'm assuming, and the chamber heater running. Once the heat bed is at 100 degrees C and the chamber is at 60 degrees C, the H2D will fluctuate between about 4 to 600 watts while it is maintaining that temperature. That's the heat bed heater turning on and off and the chamber heater turning on and off. 4 to 600, and it fluctuates back and forth. That's with zero extraction. That's just the H2D running, doing its thing. So that's about how much power it's using to maintain that temperature. All right, folks, just for kicks, I left the heat off in here last night. So we're at 58 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 4 degrees Fahrenheit colder than the last test. Fan setting 2, gates at 50%. The printer is warmed up. Resetting our power meter. Switching to kilowatt hours. So here we go, benchy number 4, 4 degrees Fahrenheit colder. We're gonna see if we use more or less with extraction level 2 than no extraction with the room at 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
A few moments later.
Okay, benchy number 4, temperatures come up to 62 degrees. Print just finished. Rolling back our filament. Lowering the bed. Happy music. And moment of truth. 0.366 kilowatt hours. 0.366. 53.5 minutes. So let's try to make some sense of these numbers, shall we? In my defense, I wasn't really paying attention to the ambient temperature in the room at the start of the print, only at the end of the print. I thought I was being consistent by checking it at the end. So what did we see? We saw that the room ambient temperature went up 4 degrees during the duration of the print. That makes sense. This thing's putting out a lot of heat. It's emitting that heat into the room. Luckily for us, benchy number 4 ended at the exact same ambient temperature as benchy number 2. Benchy number 4 being on level 2 extraction, benchy number 2 being at level 1 extraction. So we can compare the kilowatt hours used during both of those prints very closely. Benchy number 2 used 0.327 kilowatt hours or 327 watt hours. Benchy number 4 used 0.366 kilowatt hours or 366 watt hours. So that means that at level 2 extraction, with the same ambient temperature, the printer used roughly 10% more power to complete the print. Is 10% a lot? Well, that's 40 watts constantly for an entire hour. If the heater uses between 400 and 600, call it 500 average, the heater itself is using a little less than 10% more power. That means the heat bed is probably using a little bit more too, as are the hot end heaters. Everything's working a little bit harder to keep the printer running, adding up to about a total of 10% more energy use. So is the heater overcooling the chamber? No, the chamber maintains 60 just fine. Is the heater working too hard? Well, 10% more use could result in a 10% shorter lifespan, maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's significant. I think the ambient temperature in the room seems to play a much larger role in how much power the printer uses. So if I keep the ambient in here up a little bit higher, running extraction, the printer's gonna be more efficient than if I let the ambient temperatures fall, having the window open, for example. So what do we know? At the end of benchy number 3, the ambient temperature was 4 degrees higher in the room. The printer used 6% less power. What do most people do when they're printing ABS and ASA? They open up the window, right? If the ambient temperature outside is cold, which, it is at least half of the year, that means that the printer is actually probably going to be using more power due to the lower ambient temperature in the room than it would be if you just extracted the fumes out of the printer. So yes, my printer is working harder with extraction on than it would be if it was in here with the heater cranked and, doors closed and full of fumes. But everything is relative, and that's what you have to keep in mind. Anyway, I think this pretty much puts the whole H2D exhaust system thing to bed. So let's move on to the X1 Carbon. Moving on to the X1 Carbon, I set out to design an exhaust hood that matched the aesthetic of the one from Cloud 42, but fit the X1. The first order of business was to measure this hole pattern on the back of the machine with calipers and then to come up with a drawing from there. Once the whole pattern was approximated, a template was 3D printed to make sure that the whole pattern was exact. Once I knew I had this down, I could begin modeling my exhaust hood. Then a PLA prototype was created to make sure that the design still fit the machine when printed in the orientation required by FDM printing. Of course, it took me a few tries to get the quick change dimensions exactly right. The finished hood is truly gorgeous in ABS GF filament. Once again, I went with a ribbed TPU gasket. The holes on the back of the X1 are a mix of 3mm machine thread and 3mm screw thread. Okay, and with that, the X1 Carbon is hooked up to the printer exhaust system. And you can hear it drawing fumes through the output in the back. All right, so I know what you guys are thinking, but Casey, the X1 Carbon doesn't have a chamber heater. You're not going to be able to print any engineering filaments inside of that printer. And yeah, that's true. If I was planning on doing a bunch of ABS or ASA in the X1 Carbon, I might be hurting it slightly. I've seen similar tests from channels like My Tech Fun that suggest that the ambient temperature in the chamber of the X1 Carbon with fume extraction runs about 5 to 7 degrees cooler. And that's enough to create some problems with ABS and ASA. Maybe not on every print, but definitely on the bigger prints. So what gives? Why am I building such a flawed system? Well, the truth is, I'm kind of planning on using the X1 Carbon mostly for PLA. I'm actually setting it up with a 0.2mm nozzle, trying to dial that in, and I want to use it to make patterns for sand casting aluminum. But I don't like having tools in the shop that aren't fully functional, so that leaves me wondering if I should look into trying a BQ Panda Breath chamber heater for the X1 Carbon to see if maybe it could keep up with my fume extraction system. If that's something you guys would like to see, let me know in the comments, because I might be open to picking one of those up and doing some similar tests with the X1 Carbon. Anyway, I know this video is running a little bit long, and I do apologize for that. I think we've covered the bases. I've got my printer fume extraction system up and running on 2 printers now, and I'm pretty happy with it. All of my models are going to be on MakerWorld, so hit up my profile. I'll put a link in the description. If you want to do a system like this and you want to pick up the VEVOR 4-inch duct fan, I've got an affiliate link to that in the description as well. Full disclosure, VEVOR did send me this duct fan free of charge, but honestly, I was getting ready to buy one if they weren't going to send it to me anyway. The fan works great. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this time, and we'll see you on the next one.